The movie begins in the future with Jake, a Marine soldier injured with a serious injury to his spinal cord, and we notice that this injury resulted in him becoming paralyzed and unable to move except through his own wheelchair only. Despite that, Jake refused to surrender to the feeling of helplessness and was trying to live his life naturally. One day, he is staying up in one of the places he is accustomed to staying up in, and suddenly, one of those present bothers a woman and extends his hand on her. At that time, Jake's blood boils, and he deals with him. Despite his health condition, the old skills are still present, and because of that, Jake is able to hit him. But of course, this talk does not please the place's security. Because of that, they throw Jake outside the place with his chair. After what happened, Jake keeps thinking about the state he reached, and he is very sad because it is impossible for him to collect the operation money, which, by the way, was a fictional amount, impossible for him to get, even if he kept working for the rest of his life. Suddenly, my friend, his train of thought is cut by the arrival of two from a space agency talking to him and saying, "Unfortunately, we come today with not good news. Your brother Tom passed away. The loss for us is not just that we lost a person who was dear to us, but we lost the most important one in the Avatar program organization that we have been working on for 3 years." To understand more about this subject, we know that it is done on a planet that resembles planet Earth by a large percentage called planet Pandora. Living on it are a people called the Na'vi. They have common traits with humans, but not many traits, because the Na'vi creatures living there are blue in color and have many other traits fitting the place they live in. Although Jake was shocked and very sad for his brother, who we know is not just his brother, but his twin, Jake starts calming himself and looks at the full half of the cup. And this is after the scientists told him, "We came today to take you for this mission instead of him." At that time, Jake feels that this is his chance to be able to collect the operation money and walk again on his legs, especially because the compensation for the mission was very high. As soon as he agrees, the scientists begin talking to him and tell him the movement time and make him understand that everything regarding time will be different. For example, the movement distance between planet Earth to planet Pandora is 6 whole years. But so Jake does not feel them. He will be put in a capsule where the years will pass as if they were one night, and the scientists will not wake him until after they reach the planet. Actually, my friend, after 6 years pass, we see Jake coming out of the capsule after arriving at planet Pandora, and the scientists there let him know that he arrived. Indeed, their words come true, and Jake feels that he did not spend except one night only in his capsule. After his arrival, we notice that he is completely controlling his emotions and refusing to make himself feel that he is less than those around him because of his disability. He begins to explore the planet and notices something that was strange but important, which is that the Na'vi people are not surrendering to the research that the humans are doing on their planet. This is clear to Jake, who sees a group of arrows penetrating the tires of a huge vehicle from the Avatar project vehicles. After a short time, Jake goes, he and all those with him, because they have a lecture with their commander on planet Pandora. We see the commander, Colonel Quaritch, while he is talking with Jake and his colleagues and telling them, "You must know that you are facing creatures that are not easy. The Na'vi people refuse our presence and resist with all they can against us. And if at any time we felt that we controlled them, ensure that this will be the beginning of defeat. I do not need anything from you except complete commitment to instructions. Any violations are forbidden, otherwise you will be exposing yourself to expulsion from the project. Our mission is very difficult. We must finish them or make them leave amicably and take their lands." Jake, we feel that he is not satisfied with the talk that is being said. After the lecture, Jake meets 2 of the scientists participating in the project, and we know their names are Norm and Max. They begin talking to Jake and let him know one of the most important rules in the project. And this thing is the Avatar creature, which consists of a creature blue in color, similar to most creatures living on planet Pandora. But the difference in the Avatar is that it merges with the humans participating in the project, meaning we can say that the Avatar is the link between humans and the Na'vi people. And this is because the Avatar basically is made from a mixture taken from human DNA and Na'vi DNA. To understand more about the subject, we know that a number of participants in the project have their own avatar, noting that control of this avatar is not done through a person unless he is sleeping in a capsule dedicated to this. Because of the great compatibility between Jake and Tom, Tom's avatar will likely work with Jake. In this way, those in charge of the project can continue their projects normally as if Tom was still present with them. After Jake knows all the information he wants to know, a woman arrives at the place. We know her name is Grace, as we also know that she is responsible for all the avatars present in the project. She talks to Norm, and we notice that she is very happy with his role in the project, especially because Norm is one of the oldest people participating in the project. This is beside another very important feature, which is that he knows how to speak the Na'vi language, and we know that a number of them also know how to speak the English language. But what was strange for Jake is that Grace, after she saw him, spoke to him with complete indifference. She said to him, "Who are you?" At that time, Jake began explaining to her, but she refused even to listen to him and said to him, "With this health condition of yours, it is impossible to participate with us. I wanted Tom to be the one to continue, but unfortunately, that did not happen. So it does not mean that because you are his twin that you can work with us." After she finished the 2 words she had, she left the place and walked and went to meet with Parker, who we know is one of the most important project managers. She tells him, "The operation does not need complications, nor can we employ with us a paralyzed one whose brain has been parked for a long time like the new boy who just arrived with us. You know well the danger of the project and know that with his condition it is impossible for him to do anything." But Parker says to her, "Firstly, we do not have any other solution before us. Secondly, I am sure Jake will be a real addition. This man was one of the best Special Forces officers, and do not let the injury he has fool you. As soon as he is tasked with a mission, you yourself will see what he will do. And do not forget that we are present here for a specific mission, which is extracting the unobtainium element from the land of the Na'vi people. This element is the future of all and will be the first energy source in all planets, and the biggest proof of that is that its price now is $20 million for 1 kilo. Although Grace was objecting to what was being said, of course, she cannot review the project manager, and because of that, she agreed while she was forced. The first challenge before Jake was that he would try his avatar. Indeed, he enters inside the capsule dedicated to controlling the avatar and begins to merge with his avatar, and he is able to control it with high skill as if he has been doing this for years, my friend. But what was more beautiful for him is that after merging with the avatar, he was able to walk on his leg naturally. This made him very happy, my friend, to the degree that he kept running in every place and did not believe himself until he met with Grace's avatar, who correctly could not stand his presence, but was forced to accept this, especially after she felt that Parker's words about Jake were actually correct. The biggest proof of that is that he is able to control the avatar from the first experiment. After the simulation ends, we see Jake while he meets with their commander, and we notice that the commander does not like the atmosphere of scientists and work. Because of that, he talks with Jake and says to him, "Your mission for me, hero, is that you know all the information we want to know about the Na'vi people. We have 2 plans that have no third. The first plan is that we can convince them to extract the unobtainium element from them without problems, and likely they will refuse. And then we will be forced to resort to the second plan, which is war. Your mission, hero, throughout the period of your control of the avatar, is that you know for me all the information that you can benefit us with, and know if they have an intention that the dialogue ends amicably, or if it will come with them with problems, and we must fight them." Indeed, we see Jake while he is in his first mission, which is a normal exploratory mission, but he decides to reach in it all the information he can. After Captain Trudy delivered Jake and all those with him in the mission to the place, Jake began to explore everything around him, but suddenly a group of predatory creatures attacked them whose size was extremely huge. At that time, Jake decided to show them the Special Forces work, and using a weapon, he began to shoot fire at these animals. Poor thing, my friend. But the situation was different on planet Pandora, and because of that, he could not leave any animal among them. On the contrary, the animals kept chasing them more fiercely to the degree that Jake fell from a high height, but he was able to control himself. After he lost his weapon, he decided to deal with the simplest tools with him, and because of that, he brought a tree branch and began to sharpen it and use it like a spear, and put on it a flammable material and lit it. But this did not scare the animals. On the contrary, it brought him more animals. At that time, Jake felt that his experience was actually little on this planet and that he might be lost. Indeed, my friend, the animals surround him, and his end becomes a matter of time, not more. But suddenly, an avatar named Neytiri arrives at the place, and we know that she is not just any avatar, but she is the daughter of the leader of one of the biggest Na'vi tribes. With utmost courage, she begins to defend Jake and is able to defeat the animals actually, and saves him. Because of that, Jake thanks her. She says to him, "You shut up completely. What brought you here, human?" He says to her, "I want you to teach us more about the Na'vi people and make me understand how I can defend myself alone after this." But Neytiri refuses to tell him anything and asks him to return to the place he came from. But suddenly, an avatar arrives at the place. We know his name is Tsute, and we notice that most avatars show him respect. Without many introductions, Tsute descends upon Jake and takes him to Itakan, the leader of the biggest tribe in the Na'vi people. After Itakan understands everything, he decides to finish him because he is a stranger to them. At that time, Jake decides to use his intelligence and begins to talk with Itakan and says to him, "I may be a stranger actually, but believe me, after I got close to you, I felt that I want to continue my life amongst you and learn from you everything." Although Itakan was not very convinced by these two words, suddenly Itukan's wife, who is Neytiri's mother, Moat, begins to talk with the tribe's seer and asks her to inspect Jake. Indeed, my friend, the seer does her work, and after a short time, she discovers that Jake is a kind person and his heart is very pure and he is not deceiving them. As I and you know, this is not the truth, of course, and Jake's primary mission basically is that he subjugates the Na'vi people and knows from them all the information that will benefit the Avatar project. But after the seer's words, the female leader spoke with him and said to him, "We will give you a second chance, and from now on, Jake, your responsibility is on Neytiri." So she says to her, "Why me?" She said to her, "This is an order, not a request. The subject is closed." Indeed, Neytiri decides to start with Jake from the second day, but sleeping time had come, and because of that, they enter to sleep. At that same time, we notice that Jake woke up in his capsule. And of course, in this way, he lost control of the avatar. After he returned to his consciousness, we see him while he talks with his colleagues and tells them about his dangerous adventures that he did. Of course, everyone is impressed by him, especially because this is his first mission with them, and what he did is a very big success, especially because from the first time he was able to convince the Na'vi people to be one of them. This is, of course, something that will benefit the Avatar project greatly and will save them big time. Because of that, those in charge of the project talk with Jake and let him know everything regarding the element they want to extract. They say to him, "As long as the Na'vi tribal leaders are happy with you, then like this, you can convince them of the peaceful solution to the subject. Offer them that we move them to other lands, or any place that pleases them, in exchange for them leaving us to take what we want. Offer them also that we agree to make them very developed and achieve for them all the projects they dream of in exchange for this." At the end of the talk, Parker says to Jake, "I will give you 3 months deadline to have finished this subject and bring me a final result. Otherwise, I will not have before me except that we fight the Na'vi people and eliminate them or force them to leave their lands." At that time, Jake agrees and begins to execute the mission actually. We see him with Neytiri learning everything regarding their combat styles and ways of taming dragons and wild animals that they use as a means of transportation and fighting sometimes. This is beside that she also taught him the language of the Na'vi people. True, he was learning from her, and it was clear he was interested in every word she said. But at the same time, his eye was working like a radar, trying to spot all information that benefits the project. When he returns, we see him while he talks with the commander and lets him know all the weak points in the Na'vi fortifications so that if a war happens, they can penetrate from these points. As for Grace, despite her grumpiness, it was completely clear that she did not like this way and wished that the dialogue would end by mutual consent between the humans and the Na'vi. Because of that, when she knew what Jake was doing, she was very annoyed. But at the same time, she was not able to do anything because Jake currently is working with the project managers while she is just a normal individual. But despite that, Grace decides to separate from the commander and takes Jake and his colleagues with their special avatar capsules to a separate place. She decides that she will solve the subject by mutual consent between the humans and the Na'vi people, especially because Jake himself is not satisfied with what he was doing, and because of that, he was feeling that he was lost. On one hand, he began to get attached to the Na'vi people, and especially Neytiri, to the degree that he started seeing that he began to love her. But on the other hand, he was seeing that this is impossible, and that first and last he is a soldier, and on a specific mission, and must finish it to take the amount he was promised, and do the operation, and finish with his suffering after the injury. Although time is passing, he was not able to settle on a shore in this subject, and because of that, he left the dialogue to the last moment. He was meeting continuously with Neytiri and learning from her everything, and we can say that he literally became one of the Na'vi people. Even the hardest thing that could be done, which is riding one of the most dangerous birds and flying with it, Jake was able to do that actually. You could say a real avatar, my friend. The Na'vi people themselves were very surprised by this, because there are some of them who cannot deal with this bird, basically. After the passage of 3 months, the commander talks with Jake and says to him, "Your mission ended, and very soon we will arrange for your return to planet Earth, and there you will find the amount we promised you and more. You will do the operation, and within a month, you will be better than the first. Not only will you walk on your leg, you will run also." But Jake, whose heart had attached to the Na'vi people, spoke with the commander and said to him, "I know that the mission ended, and that you can now attack the tribe and finish them, but I want from you a last chance. Before I return to planet Earth, soon there will be a celebration they will do especially for me. I do not want anything except that I participate in this celebration. Maybe I can then reach a solution with them, and the subject ends amicably." Although the commander was seeing this as just a waste of time, because of Jake's insistence, he was forced to agree. Indeed, Jake returns to the tribe once again, and all of them celebrate him. We notice that they love him very much, and what increased their love for him is that Jake confessed to Neytiri with love. In this way, he became one of them officially, and it was clear that Jake's subconscious wants him to stay amidst the Na'vi people. Because of that, he lived his life amidst them as if he forgot the basic mission he was present for, my friend. Anyone in his place would forget the world and what is in it. One day, we see Neytiri while she is very terrified and trying to wake Jake, who was in a deep sleep. This is not because he is sleeping for real, my friend, but because Jake, the truth is sitting amidst his colleagues and eating, and consequently, he is losing control of the avatar because of his lack of presence in the dedicated capsule. Neytiri keeps waking him, and we know that she is doing this while she is scared because his commander already issued his orders to attack the Na'vi people, especially after he felt that Jake is wasting his time and will not finish the dialogue. As soon as Jake knows this, he enters with his maximum speed inside the capsule and begins to control the avatar. He is able to save Neytiri, but he begins to attack the equipment belonging to the commander and the project. Of course, when the project managers see this talk on the cameras, they are about to go crazy, meaning, how can something like this happen? Especially the commander, who felt that Jake was deceiving them all the past period and sold them to the Na'vi people. As for the Na'vi people, we see their leaders while they are talking with the rest of the tribe members and telling them, "It is done. There is nothing before us except war, and we must prepare with maximum speed." So the commander ensures that Jake will not be on the side of the Na'vi people. He disconnects his capsule. At that time, Jake is not able to do anything, and in this way, he is officially outside the mission. But before the commander continues in his attack, we see Grace while she is talking with Parker in the capacity of the first manager of the project. She says to him, "I know that you gave many chances, and that every extra day we spend here represents big losses for you, but I am not asking you for more than a last chance. And I promise you that I will be able to convince the Na'vi people of the peaceful solution. I do not want you to forget that they have children and innocent people who have no guilt dying because of our attack on them." Although Parker was not convinced by her words, he was forced to agree to the words at least to satisfy his conscience. At that time, Grace asked that Jake return to the mission once again because he is the best link between them and the Na'vi people. And Without him, the subject will be in utmost difficulty. Indeed, my friend, Jake returns once again to his capsule and goes to the Na'vi people and begins to talk with them. He says to them, "I know that what I will say now will be shocking to you, but believe me, I was not deceiving you. I loved you and loved my presence amidst you and wanted to learn from you. But this does not prevent that the reason for my basic presence amidst you was a mission humans are doing to reach the element they want to extract from your land. So, from the end, you do not have except one choice that has no second, which is that you finish the subject amicably because you surely know that war is not in your favor. Our commander has no mercy nor understanding. In less than an hour, he will wipe you from the history of the universe." Of course, after he finished his speech, all those present were about to go crazy and were very annoyed with him, especially Neytiri, who felt that she was deceived the most. As a start, they judged him to be tied to one of the trees and meet his fate in the battle. But at the same time, we know that the hour deadline finished. And because of that, the commander sent his men with fighter planes to finish the subject. True, the Na'vi people began to resist them, but of course, the subject was nearly impossible against the developed weapons of the humans. But at the same time, we notice that not all the commander's men agree with this thinking. Because of that, Trudy, who was one of the best pilots, decided to withdraw from this mission, and she was seeing that it is inhumane. But others completed the mission, and the result was in favor of the humans. Not only that, but Edakan, the tribe leader and Neytiri's father, dies, and his daughter is about to die from sadness. As for Jake, Parker decides to disconnect the capsule from him because he no longer has any use in the mission. As soon as Parker disconnected the capsule from Jake, he decided to punish him for his violation of instructions at a time of the mission times. And because of that, he arrested him and Grace. After they entered the cell, they did not know how they would act and were regretting everything. But suddenly, Captain Trudy appears with Max, and they are able to smuggle them from the place. But of course, the commander was not sleeping on his ears, oblivious, and discovered that they were trying to escape using one of the planes. Because of that, he moves himself and begins to attack the plane. Grace at that time gets injured with a severe injury, but they decide to complete their escape. Before they walk from the place, Trudy succeeds using her plane in lifting the unit that has the Avatar capsules, and they decide to move away with it from the place to act and stop this war in any way. Indeed, my friend, they succeed in escaping, but unfortunately, after a short time, Grace dies. At that time, Jake, despite his sadness, decides he and those with him to continue in their mission. Because of that, they return to the tribe, who of course cannot stand him, but he is able to do something that proves to them all, and he climbs on the back of the most dangerous bird on planet Pandora. This is something that confirms to the Na'vi people that Jake became one of them, actually, my friend. After that, he decides to help them, and because of that, he says to them, "As long as we are like this, we will not be able to defeat the commander and those with him. The only solution is that all Na'vi tribes unite, and only then will we be able to triumph." Indeed, my friend, the tribes communicate with the rest of the Na'vi tribes, and every tribe brings the strongest weapons and strongest birds they have, and they decide to enter a fateful battle against the humans. The battle begins, and despite the strength of the commander and all those with him, and despite their developed weapons, the Na'vi people were defending their cause with utmost courage. They were able, using their animals, to drop a large number of planes. This is beside Trudy, who helped them and dropped many planes also. Of course, when Trudy did that, the commander was going to go crazy, and because of that, he attacked her plane and was able to drop it. But Jake did not like this talk at all, and because of that, he dropped the commander's plane, who we believed died. But this is not the truth. We confirm this when we see the commander inside one of the most dangerous robots, and continuing in his fighting against the Na'vi people. But Jake decides to confront him himself, and a dangerous battle begins between them. Because of that, he gets close to him and is already about to stab him with the dagger. This is other than the bigger disaster, which is that the commander during the fighting broke the glass of the unit that has the Avatar capsules. And consequently, the place became not valid for breathing. But in the appropriate moment, Neytiri interferes, and with an arrow knowing its path, finishes the commander. After that, she takes Jake quickly and gives him a mask to return to breathing naturally. After a fierce fight, the battle ends with the victory of the Na'vi people over the humans in a surprise to all. After the end of the battle, the Na'vi people expelled all the humans who were present on planet Pandora and did not leave anyone except Jake and a small number of his colleagues whom they are sure of their loyalty. We confirm actually how much Jake attached to them, to the degree that he chose not to return to planet Earth to do the operation. On the contrary, he transferred the consciousness and all his memories to his avatar and decided to live the rest of his life on planet Pandora. And so we have finished the first part of the movie. And the events of the second part begin on planet Pandora, and we see Jake, who chose to continue his life there as an avatar. After a short time from the expulsion of the humans, the truth returned better than the first on planet Pandora, and all the Na'vi people were very happy. Not only Jake, who continued his life on the planet, but Norm and Max also did that. But the only difference between them was that Norm and Max are living their lives on planet Pandora as humans with their avatars, which they can control after they enter the capsule, as we know. Because the Na'vi people saw how much Norm and Max are loyal and different from the commander and his men, they decided to keep them present because they trust them. As for Jake's personal life, we know that he married Neytiri, my friend, and he became the tribe leader and had 3 children from her. We noticed that he is interested in raising the children, and not just any raising, a tough raising in which he put his experiences when he was in the Special Forces. This, of course, was not out of annoyance, but because he trusts in the thinking of humans and is sure that they will return once again to invade planet Pandora and loot all the wealth that is in it. Because of that, he was keen to teach his children fighting and good conduct in difficult situations. This is beside that he taught them the English language and many other things. Now let us get to know more about his children. The first one of them is his eldest son Netiam, and the second Loak, and with them their third sister, who we know her name is Tuk. But other than his 3 kids, Jake adopted another girl. We know her name is Kiri, whom we are surprised is the daughter of Grace, the brave one who sacrificed her life and died in the first part after the commander injured her with a dangerous injury. After she died, Jake knew that she was pregnant from Norm, Avatar Grace. And because of that, he chose to transfer her mother's consciousness to her and give her a chance to live in a new avatar. But it is different from Grace's avatar because it died with her. The last one Jake was considering, his son, is a human young man named Spider. To know his story, we go back in time a little bit, and we know that he is the commander's Quaritch son, my friend, who was married to one of the station scientists in secret. But the commander died, of course, as we saw, and the woman he was married to died she also. But luckily, the scientists at the last moment were able to save the fetus that was in her belly and named him Spider. Although he is human, and although Neytiri does not stand him, of course, because his father is the one who killed her father and a large number of her tribe, she was forced to tolerate him because Jake was loving him on one hand. On the other hand, Neytiri was trying to control her feelings towards him because he has no guilt in what happened in the past. As Jake was expecting, in the time that he and the rest of the Na'vi people were living in peace and safety, the humans were developing their technology. This is, of course, to return to invade planet Pandora anew. One day, they make a dangerous attack on the planet, and we notice that their equipment and technology developed noticeably. As soon as they approached the land of planet Pandora, they burned all the trees and forests that met them, as if they are delivering a message to the Na'vi people that they, this time, are not coming to joke. They are coming to destroy everything. As soon as Neytiri knew of the arrival of the humans once again, she kept crying. And this is not because she is afraid, but because her feelings this time are not just the feelings of someone from the Na'vi people. These are the feelings of the mother who is afraid for her kids. The attacks of the humans continue on planet Pandora, and one of the times there is a dangerous surprise waiting for Jake and Neytiri and all the Na'vi people. This is when we discover that the attack this time is different, because it is under the leadership of the commander's avatar and the avatars of all who contributed to the war of humans against the Na'vi people in the first part. From the end like this, they are not coming to fight. They are coming to take revenge. The strongest revenge on all, and the first of them, Jake, whom the commander sees is his first enemy and the biggest traitor to humans. This is, of course, other than that, the commander has a personal vendetta with Neytiri, who killed him, as we saw in the first part. To know how the consciousness of the commander and his men transferred to a group of avatars, we know that he was talking with Parker and agreeing with him that if he died, he transfers his consciousness to the strongest avatar and leave it in the experiment so that he can return his right once again. After the commander and his men died, Parker did that actually, my friend. But let me also tell you that the Na'vi people are no longer in the weakness that they were on before, and under Jake's leadership, everything was different because they no longer wait for the humans to attack them. On the contrary, they're the ones who started beginning the attack, meaning something like this is the ultimate strength. Because of that, we see Jake, while taking 2 of his kids and a group of the strongest fighters of the Na'vi people, deciding to attack a train belonging to the humans. And not any train. This is loaded with a huge amount of weapons. Because of that, Jake and his fighters begin to attack the train and succeed actually in derailing it from its path. And after that, they steal all that they find inside it. But at the time they believed that the mission ended already, they are surprised by a fierce attack from the fighter planes of the humans, which correctly succeeded in liquidating a number of Jake's fighters. But Jake himself with his kids and a large number of fighters succeeded in escaping. But after the success of this attack, the commander's avatar and the rest of the avatars with him succeed in reaching planet Pandora. There, the commander's avatar meets with a human woman. We know her name is Ardmore, as we also know that she is the current commander for all human operations on planet Pandora. The female commander begins talking with the commander and says to him, "Our mission is one, which is the elimination of Jake and all his followers. I do not want you to forget that planet Pandora now is no longer important to us just for the element that we want to extract. The subject for us as humans developed much from the first, and we started seeing that planet Pandora is the best planet possible to be an alternative to planet Earth. By God," she says to him like this, "my friend, for humans to live on it. But the only obstacle for us is represented in Jake and those with him, because one day he was an individual from the Special Forces individuals, and because of that, he succeeded in his maneuvering. Whether we fought him on land or sea or air, he succeeds in causing us many losses. This is other than the genius locations that he is able to be stationed in, he and his forces, which we until now are not able to determine despite the developed technology with us." At that time, the commander says to her, "As long as he is from the Special Forces, then no one will finish with him except one from the Special Forces like him." And he was at that time talking about himself, of course. After that, the commander decides that he exploits his new shape, he and the rest of his fighters. And this is, of course, because after they became avatars, surely they will be able to merge amidst the Na'vi people easily. One day, we see Loak while taking Tuk and Kiri, and with them Spider to take them to a place a bit far. And this is according to Jake's instructions, who started feeling that the battle between him and the humans became closer than any time past. As soon as they reached the specific place, Loak is surprised by the presence of the commander's avatar and the rest of the avatars with him. Because of that, he communicates with his father through the wireless and lets him know everything he saw. At that time, of course, Jake understands that the one in front of his son is the commander and his men, especially after Loak told him about the shape of the weapons with them. As soon as the information reached Jake, he moved immediately, he and his eldest son, and with them Neytiri. But despite the speed of movement, the commander was able to reach Loak and his sisters and took them prisoner, my friend, to pressure Jake with them and force him to surrender. The commander begins sitting talking with Spider and is very surprised because he is the only human amidst them. He gets more surprised when he knows his father's name, Spider, who was his wife before he died. At that time, the father's emotion begins to work after he knew that the one in front of him is his son, and because of that, he is not able to hurt him. As for Jake and Neytiri and Nedium, they put a plan to save their kids. As soon as the night falls, they attack the avatars with the commander, and with arrows, they succeed in finishing a large number of them and liberate Tuk and her sisters. But after they escape from the place, the commander discovers what happened and begins to attack them with bombs. Indeed, one of the bombs explodes in a place close to them, and the only one injured is Spider, my friend. Correct, it was not a dangerous injury, but it was enough to knock him down and make the commander's men arrest him. In the place where the female commander was present, we see Spider while he is tied up, and the female commander is working on him with torture to make him confess everything regarding Jake and regarding the places he is stationed in. But we notice that Spider, despite being human, is very loyal to Jake to the degree that he endured all types of torture. And even the lie detector machine, Spider was able to dodge it and did not confess any information regarding Jake or the Na'vi people. Because Spider, first and last, is the commander's son, we see the commander while trying to convince the female commander that he will act in the subject in his way. Indeed, the female commander agrees, and because of that, the commander takes Spider and begins to talk with him. He says to him, my way is completely different from the female commander's way. And believe me, I do not want to torture you because I know you are tough and will not confess anything on Jake. But keep knowing that patience has limits, and I will leave you to talk when you like. But if you did not do that, keep confident at that time that I will return you to the female commander, and her conscience will be very comfortable normally, and she will do in you what pleases her then. As for Jake, my friend, he knew that Spider's presence at the commander's and his team represents a big danger to him, because Spider, even if he endured the torture a little, eventually he will confess everything. Because of that, Jake decided to do something that would not cross anyone's mind, which is stepping down from the tribe's leadership to his deputy. Indeed, we see him while doing the ceremonies and rituals specific to stepping down from leadership. After he finishes, he takes his family and travels to a far place on planet Pandora, and we notice that it is a shelter for another tribe, as we also notice that he is in a coastal place. Let me tell you, my friend, that Jake in this way was not escaping from responsibility, but he was trying to keep his family away from danger on one hand. On the other hand, he wanted to plan calmly to return with a comeback that has no solution on the humans and finish them. He meets with the leader of the new tribe, who we know his name is Tonawari, as we know that his wife is named Ronal, and their children Aunung and their sister, Sirea. After Jake explained the situation, the new tribe leader said to him, I do not want from you except something, that you hide me, I and my family, at your place for a certain period. And after that, we will walk from here. But the tribe leader was not agreeing to this, and spoke with Jake and said to him, frankly like this, I have been maintaining the safety of my tribe from far years. And all our life we chose to stay away from conflicts and living on our islands in safety and not doing anything except fishing only. You know that as soon as I host you here, I would have entered myself inside the mess and become a party from the parties of war officially. Although the tribe leader's words were actually convincing, Jake said to him, believe me, I do not want to involve you, and I promise you that I will keep you away from any danger. We need to hide at your place a little bit, not more, and as soon as the danger ends, we will walk from here immediately. As for the commander, we see him at this same time while he is with the rest of the avatars and with them Spider. We notice that they merged very much with the Na'vi people, who started feeling that they became part of them. And of course, they until now do not know what is in it. One day, the commander likes to prove to the Na'vi people that he is one of them actually. And because of that, he takes the group with him, and they go to one of the mountains. There they decide to go up on the back of the huge Ikran bird, which no one can fly with except the Na'vi people only. But we notice that the commander does this as part of a malicious plan in his head. So the Na'vi people trust them more, and they know all the information they want to know about Jake. As for Jake and his family, we see them after they merged completely with the coastal tribe and learned from them diving and fishing and everything regarding the sea creatures living in their coast. One day, Ionung, the tribe leader's son, bothers Kiri, and at that time, Loak, her brother, gets very annoyed and hits him. This is something that electrifies the atmosphere between Jake and his family with the tribe. But Jake is able to deal with the situation with utmost intelligence. As soon as he knows what happened, he blames his son and says to him, we are guests at these people's place and exposing them all the time to danger, and they are tolerating us. So surely the story is not missing, meaning that you make problems with their son. You must go apologize to him right now. At that time, Loak hears his father's words actually and goes to apologize to Aunung, who accepts his apology, and the dialogue ends. But the truth, my friend, is that the dialogue ended like this in front of people only. But Aunung within himself was still annoyed from what Loak did. Because of that, he decided to punish him in his way. One day, Aonung takes Loak and goes fishing, and we notice that Aonung has a group of his friends. But on this day specifically, Aonung was intending to enter the very deep places from the beach. After they finished fishing, Aonung gathered his friends and returned and left Loak to face his fate. At that time, Loak made sure that he was betrayed and that Aonung is not pure towards him. But this is not what is important now, because the important thing for him is how he will be able to escape from this disaster. Suddenly, his train of thought is cut by a fierce creature's attack on him, and at that time, Loak makes sure that this is already his end. But suddenly, and without introductions, the fiercest whale on planet Navi appears. And we know its name is the Tulkun whale, a scary sea creature able to finish its enemies in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it helps Loak and saves him from the creature that attacked him. At that time, Loak he also returns the favor and saves him from an arrow that was penetrating his fin. The whale at that time feels great gratitude and is not satisfied only that he saved Loak, but he takes him on his back and returns him until the tribe. There, Loak starts talking with them and tells them about what happened. As for Aonung, we know that he informed his father of everything, although the tribe leader was angry with him after he made sure that Loak surely will die. Loak did a very manly move with Aonung and informed everyone that the mistake was his mistake from the beginning and that he is the one who insisted that Aonung takes him to far places. Even though this is not the truth, of course, as we know. But after this situation, Aonung felt that he is silly and that Loak is braver than him, and because of that, he apologized to him at that time and they became very close friends. But what all the tribe was surprised by is Loak's story about the Tulkun whale, especially when he told them that he carried him on his back and returned him to the tribe. But all were seeing that Loak is lying because their information says that this is the most dangerous and fiercest whale living on planet Pandora entirely. Although Loak kept confirming to them, no one was believing him. We transfer after that with the scene to see Norm after he succeeded in stealing a plane from the commander's place and arrived at the island where Jake lives with his family. Correct. Norm was doing this with good intention because, as we know, he does not like the commander nor agree with him in what he does. But unfortunately, this move was enough to let the commander, through the tracking devices in the plane, know Jake's location. As soon as the information reaches the commander, he moves immediately, he and his men, and they begin to attack a group of villages with fighter planes. After that, they land and meet with one of the tribes that was inhabiting close to the tribe Jake lives in. We notice that Spider is present with the commander, and we notice also that he is very sympathetic with the Navi people whom he was raised amidst. But the commander was not occupying his mind with this talk. He began to talk with the people of this tribe with a strict tone and asked them if they knew any information about the place Jake is present in currently. But all the village people denied their knowledge of anything that might benefit the commander. At that time, the commander decided to show the second face, and without introductions, he killed one of the sea creatures, Ilu. At that time, horror crept into the hearts of all those present. Although Spider kept begging his father not to kill anyone else, the commander did not have a place for emotions. Because of that, he ordered his men to burn anything they see to force the village people to confess. As for Jake, he knows that the commander approached him more than any time past, and because of that, he begins to worry. But the village leader keeps reassuring him and says to him, "Do not worry. The Navi people are a very loyal people. I warned all the tribes around us not to confess at all. And believe me, if swords are on their necks, literally, they will not confess anything." At that time, Jake is reassured relatively and thanks the leader and begins to think of a plan to save his family with him and at the same time execute his promise to the leader and not involve his tribe in any problems. We return again to the commander and those with him, and we know something of utmost danger, which is that the real reason for his arrival to this place specifically was the Tulkun whales. This is, my friend, because this type of whale has inside it a substance called Amrita substance. The cost of one container of this substance exceeds $80 million. And this is because it has a substance that stops human aging, my friend, and makes him remain young all his life, something like the elixir of life. Because of that, the commander gave the green light to his men to make a massacre in the Tulkun whales and take the largest number of them and sneak on them until they reach Jake and finish him and have closed the game and destroyed planet Pandora entirely. This, my friend, is a masterstroke, but poor thing. He does not know what is in it. Although the tribe leader did not want worry nor dialogues in his tribe, but after he knew what happened, he decided to unite with Jake and said to him, "We were together from the beginning, and now our fate must be one. I will unite with you, I and all the fighters in my tribe, to expel the danger from planet Pandora forever." We see Loak after that, and we know that he has a plan, which is to reach the Tulkun whale that saved him before, in the hope he knows from it all the details of the commander's plan. Indeed, Loak is able to find the whale and understands everything when he finds the whale has a tracking device installed in it. The first thing Loak decides to do is removing the tracking device from the whale. He keeps trying, but suddenly he discovers that time passed because the commander and all his soldiers arrive at the place. But luckily, Loak is able in the last second to disconnect the tracking device from the whale and makes it dive with him to the depths and begins to control the whale and maneuver the shots that the commander and his soldiers shoot at them. Correct. He was able to escape and became far. But what he does not know is that the commander approached him more than what is imagined to him. Because of that, he was able to hunt all those present in a big net. The disaster for Jake was when he knew that not only Loak was kidnapped, but his sisters are not present with him. As soon as Jake knew through the wireless connection between him and his kids, he spoke with the tribe leader and said to him, "Unfortunately, Loak and Tuk and Kiri were kidnapped. We must move quickly and cautiously at the same time to save them." At that time, the leader proves how brave he is and gives orders to all fighters in his tribe to prepare weapons and move. At the same time, Jake and Neteyam and Neytiri prepare their huge birds to begin the attack. As soon as they arrive, the commander talks with Jake and says to him, "Welcome, hero. I want you alone. Otherwise, I will finish your kids one after the second and will make you heartbroken over them." At that time, Jake does not have any choice. And because of that, and with courage, he moves alone and meets with the commander. At the time the commander believed that everything ended already, the Tulkun whale appears and attacks the ship the commander is present in and destroys it completely. We understand at that time that this is a signal for the beginning of the attack of Jake's fighters. Indeed, Jake and his fighters with the tribe's fighters begin to attack the commander, and the battle is in utmost fierceness, and large numbers die from both sides. But Jake exploits all that is happening and is able to reach his kids and liberates them. To ensure that they reached safety, he begins to shoot fire very heavily. Correct, everything was going perfectly, but suddenly Neteyam gets injured and dies. At that time, Jake is in utmost sadness and feels that his heart broke and that he lost a piece of his life that will never be replaced. Although Jake tried to control himself and ask Loak to escape with his sisters quickly, unfortunately, the commander was able to reach them and took Kiri and Tuk prisoners for the second time. After he was able to do that, he spoke with Jake and said to him, "This time there is no joking, boy. I will finish them in front of you. You must come to me alone." At that time, Jake decides to go to him, but Neytiri, she also begins to infiltrate the place. When the commander feels that Jake is wasting time and executing a certain plan, he threatened him that he would kill his daughter. But in that same moment, Neytiri was able to reach what she wants and caught Spider and threatened the commander that she would kill him. At that time, the father's feeling triumphed over the commander, and he left Jake's daughter so Neytiri does not kill his son. At that time, we reach the fateful battle between good and evil, the awaited battle between the commander and Jake. Despite the commander's strength, Jake, who was hurting over his son's death, decided that the commander's end would be on his hands, especially because Jake was completely confident that he is defending the right and that the commander is the villain coming to planet Pandora, bringing with him all human greed. He keeps hitting him with all strength and succeeds in the end in knocking him into the water. The commander has lost all his energy and is not able to swim, and at that time, he surrenders to death. But Spider is not able to leave his father to die, even if he differs with him in thinking, and because of that, he goes down the water and saves him. After that, we see the commander while talking with Spider and saying to him, "I want you to return with me to planet Earth and stay away from this strange life." But Spider at that time said to him, "I did not find myself, nor felt that it has real value except here." What? The boy went to planet Earth? Meaning, and saw them? The Na'vi people, although I am different from them, considered me one of them and made me feel safe. And because of that, whatever happens, I will not leave this planet, Dad. At that time, the commander decides to walk. he and all those with him, and leave planet Pandora forever, after they made sure that the Na'vi inhabitants are correct kind in their own world. But they are ready to die rather than anyone touches one atom of their planet's dust. And so, my friend, we have finished, and we meet in a new recap. Thanks for watching.